What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Talking Figures. As always, I am Tony. Today's guest is a personal favorite of mine, and I'm sure you all love him as well. You can find him on his YouTube channel at Gun Bunny Customs or Gun Bunny 43 Gun Bunny Customs 4302. There you can see his process and how he turns simple pieces of plastic into unforgettable works of art. Um, you can also catch him on his Instagram at gun underscore bunny underscore customs. There you can see his pictures of all his custom work as well. I have a ton of respect for this young man and just as many questions too, and I'm about to get them answered. So let's talk some figures. Please welcome to the show the very talented Gun Bunny Customs. What's up, buddy? How you feeling?
I'm very good. How are you doing, Bob?
Not so bad, man. So I'm gonna start right out of the box. Do you mostly stick to GI Joe, or is there anything else in your collection?
Right now, I'm pretty much just strictly GI Joe classified. Every now and again, I'll pick up a little something because I am a fan of all the other
Yeah,
stuff, but pretty much, yeah, probably 99.5%
GI Joe.
just GI Joe.
What got you back into GI Joe classified? When did you start collecting?
I started collecting right away when it was slated to be released. Was it June or July of
Okay.
2020? So I had pre-ordered all of them. I had pre-ordered the Double Zero Snake Eyes. I had just recently, at the beginning of that year, started getting back into GI Joe, but the smaller stuff because my brother had come across some boxes at my parents' old house that he bought, and so he gave me it. Was remnants of our old
Yeah.
collection. So he brought it to me, and so my intention was to put all those back together, fill in all the missing pieces and stuff like that. And then at that same time was when they announced Classified and the retro line, the small retro line. So I got into it as soon as it was
Oh,
announced.
right on, dude. So, have you always been customizing, or was that did that start with the 6-inch stuff?
I mean, when I was, like most people with the 3 3/4, you take them apart a little bit and then swap, pieces when you took the screw out the back. But as far as like
Yeah.
this, customizing on this level, yeah, it's just been classified.
Classified. Were you always artistic, or were you are you finding your artistic niche now of customizing action figures?
No, I'm an artist in my day
Okay.
job. So I've been tattooing professionally for about
Oh,
20
wow.
years. But before that, I was always into some kind of art, painting, drawing, airbrushing, pinstriping, model cars, just whatever, just always into something artistic since I was a
Oh,
kid.
wow. Wow. What was the um what was the biggest tattoo piece you have ever had to do for somebody?
Like in one
Yeah,
session,
yeah.
um, I mean, I've gone like 10 hours, 10,
Oh,
11
wow,
hours.
really?
One session,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, that's sick, man. So you've always been into
Yeah.
art, you've always been drawing and stuff. You always got like the artistic touch essentially.
Yeah, my dad was an artist. He went to art school when he came out of the Marines, and he used to design, like for local teams and for his company teams, softball logos
Wow.
or sports. And so I grew up watching him do that, and it would just amaze me how he could sit there and he would almost not even be looking at the paper. He would be watching TV, and he would have two TV
Yeah.
trays, a TV tray that had like his beer and ashtray on it as he was smoking, and then he had one that would have his little sketch pad and his little pencils and stuff. And he would just be watching TV and drinking, and he just kind of look over and sketch, and then before you know it, he would have this awesome design for a softball team or football
Wow,
team.
that's amazing, man. It's amazing how like the artistic uh gene kind of follows us down. Like it starts with parents, grandparents sometimes, and it winds up kind of just getting passed down through the generations through all of us. Because my mother has an artistic ability as well. I used to watch her kind of draw and stuff like that, and used to kind of um I don't want to say inspire me, but I guess it kind of did. Like she would like make crafts, and you always see her crafting in the dining room, and it would always make me want to like build stuff as well. My father's too. He was always in the garage building shit, whether it was like woodworking or even metalwork, because he had welding. He had welding experience. So just watching them
Oh,
put together stuff that they had in their mind used to inspire me to kind of want to do the same. That's like when I became into when I got into action figure photography and stuff like that, just making dioramas and customizing action figures and stuff like that became more like an art form to me than just customizing an action figure. So like when you when you start the process of customizing any vehicle right now, right? Because you mostly customize vehicles, or do you customize action figures as well?
I do
You do
both.
both? Okay. So when you start that process, do you
I,
feel it's like almost like a painting, or like a piece of art, like a sculpture coming together? Or do you just kind of look at it like it's an action figure? I'm just putting it together. It's whatever.
no, I mean just with anything in life, whatever it is that your job is or whatever it is that you're doing, you bring all the experience that you've kind of garnered up into that point into whatever you
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean? You're the sum total of your existence. So it doesn't matter what you do. Whenever you start, going after something or applying something or doing something, you automatically, pull all the tools out of your tool bag. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, but I mean, I try to, be somewhat structured in my thought process and laying everything out and, figuring out all the steps before I get to them. You know what I mean? Kind of troubleshooting before you get there. But
Yeah.
sometimes, man, it just happens. Y'all be nice to each other. Sometimes it just happens when, it just hits you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just you get an idea, everything lines up, and you just
You knock it out
slap
of
it
the
up.
park. Yeah, man. Currently, what would be your favorite action figure in the GI Joe classified line, if you had to pick one?
Uh, well, you know what? I got to go with the Cobra Infantry. What is that?
Okay.
24, number
Yeah.
24. I wasn't a fan of the Cobra Island one. I didn't like the black gear that he had
Yeah.
on, like the black stuff. But that number 24, Cobra Trooper, that's one that I think I'll collect till I stop collecting this line. I'll always just kind of
Picking one up.
keep grabbing them, them at a
Did
good
you
price, and
did you
just
did you pick up any of the retro carded ones now that they started releasing?
no. I don't know how I feel about
Okay.
those.
Why?
Um, I don't. I might have to just get one in
Yeah.
hand. Sometimes you just need to get it in hand to really
Yeah.
see. But for me, that Cobra Infantry just really embodies classified look, the Cobra look. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The updated kind of modernized
Okay.
look. And I mean the retro one is basically the same body. I don't like the cloth face over the more kind of high tech looking
Yeah. Okay.
mask. Um, and I don't like the fact that they use Stalker's web gear.
Uh.
I would prefer it be. I would prefer continuity and uniformity. So like Cobra stuff with Cobra,
With
Joe
Joe.
stuff with
Yeah. Yeah.
Joe's kind of thing. But maybe when I get one in hand, I'll have a different opinion. But as far as right now, number
Where
24 is
is
the
always your
top.
favorite, huh? Um. Do you have all of them currently, or is there any out of your collection that you can't get a hold of?
There's a couple that are missing. I was a completist for the majority of the
Okay.
time. Probably been like in the last maybe 6 months to a year that I stopped being a completist. And so like I didn't get like the desert snake
Okay.
eyes. I didn't need snake eyes. I didn't get the Valkyries because they didn't have any kind of like nostalgic appeal to me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'm gonna get them now as an army builder because I made a Stinger drive router one for a buddy of mine for a
Nice.
commission, and so and I really like the way that they look, so I'm gonna make a couple for
Oh yeah.
myself. But it's like I was never able to find the retro snake eyes.
Okay.
They were never around here. There's a few. There's a
Okay.
handful that I didn't. And if I come across them, I come across them. But if not,
Is there any in your collection currently that you would consider to be like a grail piece? Like this, like I'll save this if there's a fire. It's the first thing I'm grabbing.
no. I mean,
No,
no.
no.
I mean, and I don't mean that like in a bad way. I think I like them all
Wow.
equally. To
Okay.
me, it's they're you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like look at my favorite cell out of my bin. You need them all. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Um. So far, I've seen a lot of your custom work, and that's really what I like. This episode is going to be about. Because I really wanted to talk to you about some customs that I'm working on. It's going to be very selfish. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. um, but when you start your process, like for instance, the hiss. I noticed you did a lot of cool looking hiss paint jobs and stuff like that, and then you've repainted a lot of vamps and stingers and stuff like that. What is the thought process? You just like, I want to make this a Python patrol. I want to make this Night Force, or is it just something that kind of is like, you know what? Let me just see where I'm going to start, and let's see where it goes. And whatever color scheme I come up with, I'll just pair it with this team and whatnot.
Sometimes I start off with a pretty distinct
Okay.
plan or a pretty distinct idea, and then sometimes whether it's through the process of while I'm doing the actual custom, I'll hit it like a snag. I'll hit a
Yeah.
roadblock, and I don't see my way out of it. and so I just have to kind of wait until I can figure things out later on down the road and then complete it.
Okay.
But generally, what gets my brain going is colors.
Yes.
So like if I come across like a paint at the hobby store, or I used to get a lot of the D&D sets, the D&D paint sets that they had on
Hell yeah.
Amazon. And I would like them because they would have really odd colors of
Hmm.
green or blue or something like that. And then I would see that and I'd be like, man, that would look really cool
Yeah.
on this trooper or on this kind of vehicle. So a lot of times it's a color, and I want to see those
On
colors
the
on the
thing,
on the
because
vehicle.
I let me tell you something. I've seen the contrast of colors on your vehicles, because I'm a big contrast. I love when I do the photography stuff. I always add a lot of color because I love I just love it very vibrant and stuff. And when I noticed all of your work, it's always vibrant to me. I'm always like blown away by like how perfectly you match the colors, how it blends beautifully. All the like, they just listen. I can only imagine how much time you put into one of these things. So that's my next question: how long does it usually take you from start to finish one vehicle?
It depends on how clear of an idea that I
Okay,
have. With well, like the his tank in particular, I either the day that I got it or the next day is when I broke it down and I did the video, and I took it all the way down, and I already had it in my mind that I was going to do Python
okay,
Patrol, and I was going to do it to match the Python Patrol Ram cycle and the Python Patrol Buzz Lightyear jet that I had done originally, which were the same colors, that kind of lime
yeah.
green and yellow. Python Patrol, and I made a Major Blood and his little team to go along with it, and then I just couldn't see it on it. Like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, I would look at I would look at the shell, I would look at the body, and it just I couldn't lock onto it. So I put it up for 7 months, and then I forget what triggered it, but I was like, man, I want to see like a red, and then because what I wanted to do was I wanted to do, and it really kind of had to do with Aaron, the toy enhancers, the army
Okay,
building
okay.
thing, right? Like I got in my head, so I wanted to do a big layout, and I wanted a vehicle for every sub team. And then I thought, well, what if I did like a vehicle that was, or a paint job that was a mix of two different sub teams' colors, so then that way it could be photographed
Both,
with
yeah.
both. And so I wanted to do Crimson Guard, and then I wanted to do Python Patrol. And so then that's when I just kind of came up with the extensive Enterprises
That's
Python Patrol.
amazing, dude.
Uh,
Amazing work, man. For real. Do you army build? You
I
do.
do.
So, what was your numbers at in terms of armies?
When I started laying them out, um, it was like around 300 for the Cobra stuff that I had kind of
Okay,
open and out, and then I still had more like
and
in my
stashes and stuff.
stashes.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So
Is it
I think
is it any like one more than the other? So you have like more Python Patrol than like the regular blue guys, or is it
no, I have shit. I don't know. It's like maybe 40 something
okay?
troopers, like 30 something alley
Okay,
vipers, maybe 30 something bats. They're all like in the
40s.
30s and
Okay,
40s. Yeah.
that's pretty impressive, dude. For real. Do you do any photography?
No, man, that's kind of like one area that I've never been really
Okay.
proficient on. Even when I went to art school, I went to art school to for my graphics
Yeah.
design degree, and you have to take photography classes. You have to take photography for designers, and man, I am just dog shit with photography.
Just so you're strictly a collector and just a customizer, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I want to. There was a time where I wanted to have layouts and
Yeah, yeah.
backgrounds made, and then do toy photography and kind of do you know um, little stories through it and stuff like that. But I haven't gotten to that
Is that still
part.
something you kind of want to try, or you just kind of have it on the back burner?
I would still
Yeah.
like to try it. I would still like to maybe pick up a little bit better
Okay.
camera and better, a little bit
Hell
better
yeah.
equipment, tripod, ring light,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Do
And
you
um,
have you ever tried your hand at building dioramas, or is it just like do you stay custom vehicles and figures?
I have not yet. I do want to do that. I have some ideas for dioramas that I want to
Nice.
do, uh, but um, it's just sort of like
Yeah.
time, money. You know what I mean? I'm a single dad, and I have my son the majority of the
Mhm.
time. So customs, are pretty time
Yeah.
consuming. You know what I mean? If you get into like a big, a big diorama scene or something like that, I can only imagine how much time it takes. You know, I mean, I'll watch some of the guys on Instagram. They get like that pink
Yeah.
insulation board, and they bullshit. And one day I'd like to try my hand at it, but right now, for where I'm at in my collection and all that stuff, and in my customizing, I'm okay with not being
Now
quite there yet.
you said you do commission work, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you tend to get a lot of commission work for these vehicles, or do people kind of are they wary to get their like vehicles painted a different color? Like when a commissioner, like someone comes to you, I said commissioner, I'm sorry. When someone comes to you with a commission, do they say I want it this way, or do they kind of just leave it in your hands? They're like, you're the artist, just give me a piece of art.
Um, you kind of get a little bit of both, but usually what happens is I'll give them like the
Okay.
price, and then they're like, "Well, why would you charge that much? That's crazy." And it's like, "Well, it's gonna take me 2 weeks of
Yeah.
work. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna charge you $20 for
Yeah.
2 weeks
Yeah.
of work." A lot of people they don't understand like how much time really goes into doing all this stuff and how much the paint
Hmm.
costs and the materials and stuff like that, and then just the overall
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? The time. And so the price I think kind of discourages a
That's
lot of people.
yeah. Funny you say that. That just happened to me today because my day job, if you want to call it that, I have a company that does like live sports, like live ring sports. We produce like mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I said my price to somebody just like that today, and they said, just like you said, why is that the price? And it's just you kind of like have to explain to them, like, well, you're not understanding the amount of time, effort, manpower it takes, and considering that your reputation precedes you, like your work speaks for itself.
Right.
You're allowed to dictate what you feel you're worth. And that's kind of how I had to word it to this guy today. It's one of those things where it's like, I understand you may think it's a big number, but you have to understand what it means to me and what I'm doing and how I'm producing something for you. That's going to be quality, whether it's like I said, a live event all the way down to a custom vehicle. I always feel like it's you're paying for that. Like that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the artwork. Like you're paying for the quality of work. It's not about, well, why would you pay that much to kind of paint on my his tank? It's what you're going to turn the his tank into. Like
Right.
you're going to take it from just this plain black hunk of plastic and turn it into something now where, like you said, you could put it with a strike team, you could put it with this. Like it changes the whole mindset of the world you're building in terms of when you with your action figures and stuff like that. So that always drives me crazy, dude, when people ask when they have when they say that to you, why do you think it's that much?
Yeah, I mean, and to me, I think it's like, well, if it was that easy, then why are you asking me to do it?
Exactly.
Why are you knocking on my door? So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's like that with like my day job too, like tattooing. You give them a price and they're like, well, why is it gonna be that much? It's like, well, there's all these different things that kind of get, just like when you buy a car, there's a list of shit that on that window sticker, and the
Yeah.
more stuff that's on there, the more stuff you add, or the level of difficulty, or all that kind of stuff, or what body part that you're going to tattoo,
Yeah.
the price.
What is the hardest body part to tattoo?
For me, I don't like tattooing the like the stomach and the sides areas, like below the ribs, like between the ribs and the hips, because it's real fleshy. It's real
Okay.
kind of soft and it's really sensitive, so it's really painful to get tattooed there. So
Oh
you
shit.
get a lot of squirming, you get a lot of moving around. So you got to kind of wrestle with the client a little bit and kind of hold them down and stretch that skin out.
Yeah. Oof. Jesus. When you did that 10-hour session, what exactly was the tattoo?
It was on a friend of mine named Patrick, and he was up from like the Dallas area. I used to go up to Dallas to tattoo a lot. He was going to a Caribbean wedding, and he
Okay.
was one of the groomsmen, and they were just going to be like in trunks or whatever. They weren't going to have like shirts on or any of that stuff. So he had like a tribal dragon that he had got when he was really young that kind of went around his shoulder and here. So we did like a 3/4 sleeve to like a chest piece, and over the back a big like Japanese style dragon to cover it all up.
Covered up. That's wow. It's beautiful, man. That's sick. And how long have you been a tattoo artist?
About 20 years.
20 years, dude. So you've just like, I mean, if you had to put a number on how many tattoos you've done in the last 20 years, what if you had to ballpark it?
I mean, I would, no matter the size.
Yeah,
I mean, I would say. I mean, you're talking, a few thousand.
a few thousand, right? That's sick, dude. How many customs have you done so far?
What do you mean by custom?
Like action figures and stuff and vehicles.
Oh, action figures. I want to say like I'm at, shit, maybe about like 60 or 70 custom action figures, and probably, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 vehicles.
Vehicles, wow. The custom action figures, were they are they figures that the that Hasbro hasn't made yet, or are they just versions that you wanted, or what kind of customs did you make in terms of action figures?
Well, initially, when I started doing customs, it was at the beginning when a lot of people were doing character customs because a lot of hadn't been, announced, pipeline revealed, or released
Yeah,
yet. So everybody was doing character customs with the, the either the bodies that they already had released, like Duke, Snake Eyes, or Roadblock, or doing like variants of like the army builders, like different colored bats or Cobra
yeah.
Troopers, like that. Um, so fuck, I lost my train of thought, man.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
uh, what did you ask? I'm sorry.
Customs. Who have you made? Are they
So
in the
yeah.
line, or are they just guys that haven't been in the line yet?
Right. So when I made them, they hadn't been announced yet. They were all
Okay.
stuff, they hadn't been made yet, because I didn't think initially. I don't think a lot of people did either when their first release, that it was going to go on this long and we were going to get this many kind of
Yeah.
characters, known characters and unknown, new characters, like the Valkyries and stuff like that. So I didn't think that they were going to make a lot of these. And so when I made them, with the intention of, look, they're never going to get released. So let me make them out of the parts that Hasbro's already released on the
Mm.
classified line. So then that way, when I display my collection, they look sort of uniform. They look like they're from the same place.
Did you at any point, like the rest of us, because I never saw this coming. I mean, maybe you guys did, but did you see 6-inch vehicles coming? Like when the line came out, did you see that far? Were you like, all vehicles are coming, or was it a surprise to you as well?
Well, I thought that they were going to do some. I didn't think that they were going to do. It's kind of like a double sided sword. So I'm surprised they haven't released more at this point. Like, why aren't they just pouring this shit out?
Yeah.
But at the beginning, when the first one that they released was that coil cycle, and it really kind of fell flat. I think had that gotten like a better response to it, that they would have released more
Yeah.
sooner.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was when they released that and kind of fell flat, and then people started looking at other lines and other shit to kind of fill that vehicle void. And and I had done some videos on that, like different lines, like the Mattel WWE line, the
Yeah.
Buzz Light, all the stuff that most people already were kind of pulling from. I think once Hasbro saw that, like, holy shit, we're losing money because these fools are buying, lines that they don't really collect just to get these vehicles to
Yeah.
turn them into Joe stuff. So we might as well just give it to them. So I kind of wanted it, what I mean? Like, I figured since I was already all in on the figures, I was going to get whatever was going to come out. Why not have the same collection that I had as a kid, or the actual dream collection I wanted as a kid with, a huge Cobra army,
Hell yeah.
army the vehicles and stuff like that. So that's just kind of.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. Because I never saw vehicles coming. To be honest with you, I just thought, at a 1/6 at a 1/12 scale, like vehicles have to be kind of big. Because I mean, when you saw certain things, like I saw the certain times they come out with them, and you're surprised. Like I think that was that McFarlane 66 Batmobile. Like I think it
Yeah.
was the first kind of vehicle that I saw, and I was just like, geez, that's a pretty big. That's a pretty big car, and even that's not that big. I was like, where are you going to put all these kinds of things that would inevitably start coming out? And then then they announced the hiss, and then from that point, I was just like, geez, and and then I think it was you, and I'm glad you said WWE because it was you. I saw your video with the what looked like the semi truck,
Oh,
and you turned it into like a transport for like Cobra Troopers. Was it? Am I right in saying that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. I saw that video and ran to Walmart that day and bought that truck. Now I didn't do exactly what you did with it because I was doing a photography thing and I just wanted like an actual semi. So I made the trailer for the truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted. But I used your video as like inspiration and as like a reference. I was like, holy shit, there is somebody out here. Because I remember seeing them multiple times in stores a while back and saying, I wonder if anybody's using these for like other action figures because I guess they would kind of play considering that wrestling figures are 112. Um, have you customized all WWE vehicles, or was it just the truck? I haven't really seen all the other ones. Have you gotten like a hold of the ambulance and
I
like
did.
the car and shit like that?
I did this ambulance first. Was the first one that I did,
Okay.
and I just did it like Cobra Blue.
Oh,
It's
okay.
down there. It's all apart now. Um, and that was the first one that I did, and I don't know if I really ever posted pictures of it or not, but it came out pretty rough. It was sort of my first dabble in a larger vehicle, and it was like it wasn't easy to take apart
Mm,
like the wrecking rig. A lot of it was like that what do they call it, sonic weld or static weld or whatever with the plastic and shit.
okay.
So it was real difficult to take apart. So I didn't really like it that much. But I did that one. I did the wrecking rig. I did the oh, that was right there, and then I did the forklift
Okay.
with the Brock Lesnar forklift, and I just painted blue. Did it like a Cobra forklift
Or the
because I forget Dollar Tree had they had the
pallets.
pallets,
They still have to
right?
have them time to time. I see them there.
And it works perfect with
The
with
WWE forklift.
yeah.
Oh
And so,
wow, that's awesome,
and
dude.
oh yeah, see, look, and I found these. They're like toxic waste little barrels, right? Or you could use them like for weapon storage or
Yeah,
whatever. And so I got a bunch of these, and then four of them fit perfectly on the pallet, and then the pallet fits perfectly on the thing.
on the
So
thing.
it's pretty good photography.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. Have you used Centroplastic the whole time, or was it something that you kind of discovered? Do you use Centroplastic when you customize your things, or what do you? How do you build? Like when you start building the act, like the truck off the truck, what kind of materials are you using?
It's evergreen styrene.
Oh, so you're using styrene plastic.
Yeah, it's evergreen.
Okay.
They sell they have a small section of it at Hobby Lobby usually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see it there.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I use.
Okay. Okay. I used to
I'll either order it from Instagram or get it from Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. All
I
right.
mean Amazon.
It's easy to use because I've been using that like I noticed that's in like the train section.
Hmm.
Like it's right there, right? Because I've used a
Right.
couple of it, like the piping especially, because I really like that they have the square piping. You can always, when it comes to like diorama, because I also build dioramas. I always like small details, and I always kind of bundle those together as like metal pipes and stuff like that. They're great for like piping out a diorama for like electrical pipes or whatever you need. I love that section. I was wondering if that's all you use, or do you use 3D printing, anything like that? Do you have a 3D printer, or is it all just styrene?
The stuff I build is all styrene. I don't have a 3D printer myself, but
Right on.
I'll get stuff from different people like Model Misfit did my twin 50 cows for my APC, and Athanatos Unlimited did the machine guns for the moccasin that I made.
Okay.
So I get 3D printed stuff for something like that. You know what I mean, like the weapons,
Yeah.
but for the vehicle body and all that stuff, I just use styrene.
Hell yeah, dude. I've been starting my journey into customizing vehicles. So I've just started kind of messing around with styrene. Like I said, I only used it as like diorama pieces. This is the first time I'm actually kind of building with it. So this is kind of the questions that I wanted to ask you. That's why I'm glad that I was able to kind of sit down with you. One, is it easy to work with when you need to like build like a whole section for a vehicle? Like for instance, you built the whole back piece of that truck out of it. What is it
Right.
easy to mess with? What are the methods you use? Like, do you heat it up to kind of bend it into place? Is it all cut? How do you cut things on angles to kind of match up pieces? Like that kind of stuff. Just little tricks of the trade. I'm trying to kind of pick your brain with right now.
Yeah. So usually what I'll do is I always try to start off with it being as simple as possible.
Okay.
So simple angles, simple right angles. You know what I mean? I don't try to get anything like too crazy because it's easier to kind of keep that stuff square and true.
Okay.
Yeah. What I do is you kind of got to go through the process of figuring out because it's all sold in different thicknesses, right?
Yeah.
Like the sheet sold in different thicknesses, the rods, even like the square tubing, they're all sold in different thicknesses and sizes. So you got to figure out which one works best for you as far as it being um, sturdy enough to hold everything, but like not too thick and cumbersome because the thicker it is, the harder it is to cut.
Yeah.
You want to use the thinnest one that is able to hold the weight and hold the shape.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
want to be able to kind of thread that needle or walk that line. And so I'll use anything from scissors to X-Acto knife
Okay.
or to they call them I forget what they call them, like choppers, something like that. But you can get them on Amazon. I get pretty much all my tools and stuff from Amazon, and it's basically just a board that has like a little lever handle
Yeah.
on it,
Okay.
and you
Yeah.
put
In the struggle.
a razor blade on there,
Mm.
and then and it usually has like a ruler, so you can measure out the pieces and keep them the same size. But I'll use pretty much anything that's at my
Mm.
disposal try to try to get it done. And some of it, you know what I mean, like you'll have to heat and kind of bend and shape a little bit and stuff like that. But
Okay.
for the most part, I just kind of cut it and glue it and kind of join it together.
What is the what's the best glue to use?
Me, I like a medium to thick CA glue, which is just like the regular cyanoacrylate super glue, like you'll see at Hobby Lobby,
Okay.
and the clear clear thing, and you'll see the label is usually like pink, yellow, or black. I think.
Okay. Right on. Yeah. Because like I said, I'm sure there's quite a few customizers on here that are like will get like great knowledge out of this. It's not just me. Like I'm picking your brain because it's really like I said for me. I hate to say it like that, but
No,
because currently I have plans to build. I found a Barbie car, a Barbie Corvette. I found at like a swap meet or like some thrift store, and the thing that kind of stood out to me was the fact that the seats came out and they were like actual put together seats put in, and you could probably slide them so you could kind of fit different size figures in there.
right,
And that's kind of why I took it home. And then when I took it home and I started to stare at it, it it didn't fully resemble, but it kept giving me the vibe of this. My favorite cartoon, I always bring it up on my streams and stuff like that, is the 2003, 2004, the Batman cartoon. And I loved that Batmobile because it kind of looked realistic. It didn't look so like crazy over the top with the weird wings and all that stuff. It looked like almost kind of looked like a NASCAR, the way it was shaped. So when I kept looking at this Corvette, I kept seeing that car. So I want to ask you, like, is styrene the way to go? Like, should that be because I have the base now, I have the car. That's what I'm going to build it off of,
right.
and I think it's not much that I'm going to need to do to it. I think I need to extend the grill in front because it comes down to like kind of like I said, it almost looks like a NASCAR where like everything's cut. The wheels are almost completely like it's all almost like built around it. It's pretty impressive. Like when we're done with the pod, I'll send you a picture of it along with the Barbie car. So maybe you can kind of just send me some like idea of how you would attack it because right now I want to do it, but I don't want to like fuck up this car on my first. I know like people say like, listen, you're gonna have to learn, so you have to mess up to learn.
Yeah, but you can be
But
smart about it and not just butcher something for the sake of butchering it.
exactly that's kind of where I'm at right now. I don't want to butcher this thing just because it's I got it on the cheap
Right.
because I don't know if I'll ever find the same thing again. So like if you were gonna build like this is what I really wanted to ask you. If you were gonna build the because it's a convertible Corvette, I need to put a roof on it. Where would you start?
Usually, what I try to do is I try to find either another toy or something like that. That is where it's already made, and I can kind of take it from that toy because you're not
Okay.
out engineer what's already been engineered, through a computer, through a molding process, and all that kind of stuff. So you're not going to make something that's better than what's manufactured usually.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would look for other cars, and that try to find like a similar roof line as I can, and then from there kind of modify that to be it. Because if you build that whole roof and all, the B pillars and all that shit, or however it is that it connects, you got a lot of opportunities for stuff to be kind of off centered, off kiltered, and something like that. Whereas if you get it from something that's already manufactured and you just sort of pull from it, you're dealing with something that's already kind of square and true.
Oh, okay. So kind of don't don't try to wing it and do it yourself. Try to find something that's already kind of molded so you can kind of just pop it on
Yeah, because it's going to be easier for you to figure out how to just attach that other roof to that car as opposed to just building a roof off of that car.
off of the car. Okay.
You're going to have a lot less measuring. You're going to have a lot less
Yeah.
of everything true.
Have you ever had to like cut into vehicles and stuff like that to make space for something else that you wanted to add to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like do you ever get the like the shakes? You're like, fuck, I don't want to fuck this thing up.
Well, no, and let me tell and because usually the stuff that I get to work on, like when I got those wrecking rigs, I got them at
Yeah.
like half price. They're like $12.99 or $14.99 or whatever it was. They were like super cheap. So it wasn't like I paid full price. So if I would have paid full price, I might be a little bit more leery. But when I
Yeah,
got like the Buzz Lightyear ships and when I got all that stuff, they were on sale. So it was like,
yeah,
it didn't. Um, and it's kind of cool because it kind of, it allowed me to not hold anything back. I could just kind of attack it and not worry about the 14 bucks.
yeah. Did you customize those Buzz Lightyears for 6-inch figures, or was those for the 1/18 scale?
Well, that Buzz Lightyear line is like a 5 inch figure.
Yeah,
It's just about an inch small, and I did cut out the interior pieces that needed to come out. There was like Iron King did a video on it, and a few other people did a video on it when that first came out, showing different ways to take it out. But yeah, so I just all you got to do is kind of clear out that goofy jump seat. It's like a handle you pull and it launches
yeah,
out like at the end of the movie. So when
yeah.
you cut all that shit out, the 6 inch figure fits perfectly in.
It fits perfectly in it. Did you get the other Buzz Lightyear plane? Because I got both of them. I got that one, and I did the same thing you guys did. Just kind of gutted the fucking inside so you could fit a 6-inch figure in. But the other one, if you kind of finagle and cut out enough, you could fit at least Baroness or a female, like a Valkyrie, maybe into it.
I got
I don't know what.
all
I don't remember what number the plane is,
I got
but it's a good.
4. So the first one that I got was actually the Armadillo, which was like the cargo looking ship that had like the box on it.
Yeah, is that good?
No,
Okay,
the cockpit was real small.
okay,
Because
okay.
I wanted like kind of like a supply drop ship kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I got the one that everybody did, and then I got the other one that's like it almost looks like I did it like a Cobra Stiletto. I forget which one it is, but that one like 2 panels pop off of the side like on top of.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, so I got that one and I made a stiletto out of it, but I only did one of that one, and I was able to make a Star Viper, the driver that came with the stiletto out of I want to say like a movie wave Snake Eyes,
Oh wow,
some other pieces, and he fit perfectly in there because the Snake Eyes was a little bit on the smaller side.
small side. Yeah. Oh, I never even thought to try to put that Snake Eyes in there.
Yeah. So like the smaller bucks like that, the Snake Eyes, the female bodies, they usually work
Yeah.
easily. And then I got the last one that I'm making the shark out of, which was the last one to be released that I found a couple of months ago at Ollie's and started that shark series. But that one, I ended up cutting out the back and removing the seat. Other people had done it already. They had removed the seat and removed the dashboard to allow it to fit kind of sitting up like this. But I wanted
Oh wow,
it down flat like the original toy. So I removed the seat and then I dremeled out the back wall. So now that he can kind of lay flat and it looks more.
flat in there. That's amazing, dude. I also noticed that you got your hands on the little Buzz Lightyear trucks. Do you like those? You made use out of those? How's that treating you?
Yeah, I got one of them. Yeah, I mean, so you could actually scrunch one, you could actually scrunch a figure into it with the cab still on it. But what I did was I removed the top of the cab and I removed all the pretty much everything on it to where it's sort of a shell of a truck and just made like a little maintenance truck, a little kind of refueling truck. And with the Stinger that I'm working on now, the Techno Viper Stinger, I took the pieces off that truck to start putting on the Stinger, the yellow barrel thing that's in the back, the cutting blade, and then
Blade, yeah.
the roof rack that was on top.
Oh wow, that's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. Have there been any vehicles out of the realm of GI Joe or any like one like have you taken like a 110 scale car and customized it for any action figures, or is it just strictly GI Joe vehicles and stuff that like the WWE cars?
I did the with the APC. I used the tracks off of one of those HM Dawn Forces pursuit tanks. I took the
Okay.
bottom tray of that, that just had it's just sort of a bottom tray with the tracks. It's just two pieces, just a big hollow tank, two pieces.
Is it really?
Yeah, there's nothing on the inside of it. It's just like
Oh
you know, very much like an old toy where the top is one pressed piece and the bottom is one piece, and you just screw them together, and then the
wow.
fit in there. So it's real kind of simple. So I took that bottom piece, and that's what I built the APC on top of. I have. I'm trying to think of like other stuff that I've used. I did like a Barbie boat. I used a Barbie speedboat for like the first boat that I did.
Okay.
I got some of those Fortnite gliders, the Fortnite boat.
Yeah.
Um, I've looked for other vehicles, others from other older lines and stuff like that people have found, but um, pretty much I've just used kind of either what Hasbro has made with like the Stinger and the Vamp or the Hiss or stuff like the WWE stuff.
Free stuff, yeah. When you get the vehicles, let's say I gave you a Barbie car, right? Would your knee jerk creative side want to put weapons on it and make it like a military vehicle, or would you kind of be like, no, I think some of these GI Joes need a nice whip they can whip around town with, and kind of just deck it out nicely.
Usually, what I aim for is either a vehicle that was already released for the line, you know what I'm saying, like the APC, like
Yeah.
I said, or some kind of like military support vehicle,
Okay.
from like a forklift loading the back of that, cargo truck or
Yeah.
something like that.
I would recommend then looking for like because they have a lot of I don't know if they have it in your area. It's called Value Village. It's like a thrift store, but they have a lot of Barbie stuff there, and they have like Barbie SUVs that I think if you got your hands on them, you can make a lot of cool military style. Like they won't maybe be like weaponized, like you said. They might be support vehicles,
Right.
but they're like and they're nice. They're big enough that you could fit like the bigger size figures in there as well to drive and stuff like that. And I think you could paint it a beautiful color, add some panache, some detail on it, and you could really have a great like a medical support vehicle or like a just like what the general gets drove around in like those jeeps and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like something like that. I would recommend that. I mean,
I think I do have one or two Barbie Jeeps. I don't know if they're any.
oh, so you got them already.
But they're like they're like pink and like light
Yeah,
blue beach Jeeps.
yeah.
I think I got one or two of those somewhere. I have like and then I also have like I tried a whole bunch of stuff. I tried all different lines. So I even tried a bunch of like that Chap May stuff. When they,
Okay,
for like 20 or 30 bucks, you would sort of get this whole shit that came with like 3 or 4 or 5 little vehicles and the men and so a lot of the weapons translate pretty well. So I would take the weapons and then either take pieces off of the vehicle or try to get to either try to make like an armadillo, like a small tank, or a thing
okay.
like that. And some of it worked and some of it didn't, but um, I ended up getting quite a bit of that and started working on that, but never really finished any of it. Sometimes
Yes, man.
stuff and you work on it for a while and you get ideas and you get experience and you don't actually ever finish it and it just sort of helps you build the next one.
Next one, yeah. Have you ever messed around with like the mechs and stuff that like everybody was talking about it from Dollar General?
I'm getting one now from. I've been wanting to do one, and I wanted to do one for that for Aaron the Toy Enhancers contest. But
Yeah.
looked around here at all the Dollar Trees and shit, and I was never able to find one. And then actually, Model Misfit hit me up last week saying that he found one, uh,
Oh, right on.
and he snagged it for me. So I'm just waiting for him to ship that to me. And then,
Send it out.
but I'm not going to make it. It's not for GI Joe. It's for. I want to make an Exo Squad frame. I don't know if you remember that.
I love that cartoon, dude.
Yeah. So I did a JT Marsh
Yes,
a
I
couple of weeks.
I'm so glad you just brought that up because I wanted to talk to you about that. Is that something that you're going to start? Like, are you going to make the whole team, or was that just the start of something?
Yeah, he's the prototype. I just wanted to kind of see like how it would translate as far as because I don't want to start buying a bunch of other lines to get like fodder. You know what I mean? I don't want to
Yeah,
start buying Black Series or Marvel Legends. So I just want to use what I have based off of all the classified shit that I have. And so I was just kind of pulling pieces and pulling stuff together just to see how it would even look, comparative to the old stuff. But I ended up liking the way that it came out. I had tried a couple of different legs and a couple of different things, but I liked the way it came out. So now the next is to do an E-frame to try to
hell yeah,
frame, and so either because usually I like to start off with the base. I can't. Well, I don't want to say that I can't. I'm not confident enough right now in my abilities to just start a vehicle from scratch like the way Toy Gigante does, where he built a whole his tank from scratch and a whole van from scratch and stuff like that.
yeah,
I don't have that level of skills yet. So usually I try to start off with the base vehicle, so that mech, whenever Bottle Misfits into to me, that mech is going to be what I start off as the base. Now whether it'll end up being for JT Marsh, we'll see. I'm just kind of being open minded about trying to figure out how to make it into one of them, and then if I can make it into whatever into Rita Torres' E frame, the Field Sergeant E frame, then
yeah,
then I need to make a Rita Torres. You know what I mean,
yeah.
or whatever.
That's awesome, dude. I'm noticing through my travels through this toy world that a lot of us are big fans of that Exo Squad cartoon and are kind of chomping at the bit to kind of get a line made. Do you think, like, with the because, like, let's be honest here, at this point they've come out with all the lines now, with whether it's GI Joe, Ninja Turtles, Marvel, DC. There's so many, like, and more coming. Like Thundercats is on, like, so there's almost all this stuff. That's the only one I've seen that hasn't really been touched yet.
Right.
But there's a lot of kind of like interest in it. Do you think at any point that someone might turn around and go, I think we might have to dust this line off because I think there's an interest in it.
I hope so. And I mean, whether it's Playmates, Dusty, because Playmates was the one who made it back in 90, was it whenever it came out, 93 or 94?
93, yeah, yeah.
Playmates was the one who made it. So whether or not Playmates, dusts it off and re-releases it all, just like they did the Ninja Turtles, making them look, retro like they, were in 88 or 89 when they first came,
Yeah.
or whether somebody like, Mom and Toys grabs it and kind of modernizes it a bit. To me, I think they're scared to do that line because one, nobody's really looking for that scale, the scale that it came out when it was like a 3 inch figure,
Yeah, it was very small.
2.5 to 3 inch figure, right? Everybody wants 1/12 scale now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's I think everybody's sort of go to scale now. So I think what is hard for a company to see is okay. So it's got to be a 6 inch figure. So that means it's got to be a 10 inch E frame for just
Yeah.
the regular E frame. So how do we keep that like at a reasonable price? And so to me, I mean, if they release those in a 6 inch and it was like $125, $25 for the figure and then $100 for the E frame, I'd buy them.
Yeah, I'd be all over that. I mean, I know it would be pricey because there's a bunch of them. It's not just one.
I was thinking,
Uh,
I was looking at all that stuff. Really, they didn't make a lot, right? So if you think about it, it was like I think either 12 or 14 small ones and I think six big ones or something like that.
okay.
So when like the first one, usually it was like they released four small ones and then two big ones, two of the field whatever it was, a field grade E frames or whatever the fuck it was. So even if they did say like two at a time, like they did JT Marsh and Phaeton, and then the next one would be Alex De Leon, and then whoever the second one was, Stefanis or whatever it was that was released, and then one big one like Marsala. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
In reasonable amounts like that, like two at a time. Because of the price, and then we'll release these four, and then one big one. Release four, and then one big one. I think. I mean, honestly, when I was collecting those, I was at a point where I could work. You know what I mean? So I had my
Mm,
own job and stuff like that. So I ended up, that was like the first line that I consciously army built. So I bought a shit ton of, I think I had like
wow.
7 or 8 Phaeton, um, with his E frame, and then like 5 or 6 of the purple one that Typhonis came with. I think that's a subsonic. And then the troop transport one, I had like 4 of those because you know what I mean. Where I actually worked at a toy and hobby store, and then at the other end of that kind of shopping center was a Target. So on my break, I could just go to Target real quick, and then if they were on sale or whatever like that, I would snag them. So that was like the first line that I like consciously army built.
Army built. Do you still have any of it in your possession?
I still have, I think about half of it. So when
Oh,
we when
wow.
we moved into this house, when I moved into this house, I had all my toys and shit in storage, and somehow, some way, I ended up losing, I guess maybe about half. So I lost about half of my Exo Squad, and I lost half of my Star Wars stuff. And so I don't know if it was like on a cart that we missed, you know what I mean? Because we had to take it down the stairs on the boxes on the cart from the store,
Yeah.
or what, or if somebody from the storage place went in there and jacked that shit, or whatever it was. But I ended up losing, I want to say about half of it and half of my Star Wars collection because I had collected a bunch of the recollected a bunch of the original 77 to 85 shit, and then I had gotten a shit ton of that Power of the
The
Force when it,
force.
like in, was it 95, 97,
Yeah.
when they did that, and then I had gotten a bunch of the Micro Machine one, the Micro Fleet or Microverse or whatever, wherever it was, where you get the small vehicle and then two little tiny like 1 inch figures.
Figures. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had gotten a bunch of those. I was just buying shit, anything Star Wars that was coming out at that time. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
was,
yeah.
and so I lost, ended up losing half of that.
Oh, That's heartbreaking, dude. That's the worst. That's happened, you know.
All that power of the force you added up now, all the power of the force that I lost, and it totals about $17. That stuff's really worth anything anymore.
I mean, at least the Exo Squad because it had such a sentimental value to you because it seemed like you really liked that cartoon, especially the fact that you were at that point working, so you were conscious of what you were watching. You weren't probably understood the whole story arc and everything like that. So you were probably really into that. So to lose that, that would upset me because when I was a kid, it came out in '93, so I was very young. I was 10, but it captured my imagination almost immediately when I saw what it was like a militant war in space, and they have the suits to fight each other. It blew my mind as a kid, and when I saw the toys, I was hooked because I
Yeah,
don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's just boys, but anything you could take like a small little figure and put it into like a giant robot, like I was all in. Like
yeah.
I was like, let's do it, man. Like, so if I see that line come back, I like you just said, $125. That would be I think a very fair price point for something like that, and I would definitely buy at least one or two of those things for sure.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw them at Toys R Us. I remember, I forget what I went to go look for, and I had gone down the toy aisle, and they were at the end on the left. And I was walking down, and I might have been going to go look for models because I was into car models at the time,
Okay.
and it was on the next aisle. And I remember seeing they were like that bright yellow and red box, right? That had the
Yeah.
front. And I remember seeing him, and I opened it. And I was like, "Holy shit! They're like tiny GI Joes." And that's what I liked about them is their articulation. They were small, but they had a good articulation. They weren't like Eagle Force where they were small and or they're like 5 pointers like Star
Yeah.
Wars. I like that they were articulated and they came with actual guns they could hold in their hands and
Yeah.
in the E frame, right? So you could be on the ground playing with them, or they could be in space in their E frames. So I was like, "Holy shit!" I forget how much they were, like $12.99 at the time, or $9.99, or whatever. And I was like, holy shit. And I remember I think I bought three of them that first day. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, then I was hooked. The only one that I was never able to find was the amphibious, the big amphibious one, the big one that looked like a frog, the one that Shiva had,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the first large E frame that they released. That was the only one I was never able to get.
Oh God, man, that cartoon. You just saying all these things is taking me back because
Mhm.
when I was a kid, like especially at that point, it was like those cartoons. That era of cartoons, I've noticed so far hasn't really gotten like a toy line. Like they're starting to. I'm noticed like with Biker Mice from Mars now. I'm starting to
Yeah.
see that. So I'm starting to see kind of that era, that early '90s era of cartoons start to kind of get its love because a lot of it, at least in my opinion, is a lot of '80s. It's He-Man, it's GI Joe, it's Ninja Turtles. That's all '80s. You know,
Yeah.
like even the superheroes too. Like
Yeah. Even like Mask was 80s.
yeah, yeah. So to see Biker Mice from Mars is like, all right, now maybe you're starting to kind of play in the realm of that early '90s era, which would be Exo Squad, Biker Mice from Mars. I always bring this one up a lot. Pirates of Dark Water.
I love that one, man.
Ah,
I
dude, I
that
was
one.
so heartbroken that it was only one season. It was like a cartoon that was like, man, this is fucking amazing. I thought,
Yes, yes, yes. That one was one of my favorites, and I actually wanted to collect that line. And I remember like going to Target or wherever it was, and seeing them and being like, I really like these, but they were just like a little too kidsy for me.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
were cartoony looking,
yeah,
whereas like Exo Squad was cartoony looking, but it still had that sort of military futuristic, Ripley and the loader.
hell yeah.
It combined, and then also I loved Robotech when I was a kid, you
Okay.
know, and all that stuff, Mobile Suit Gundam, all that kind of stuff. I remember renting the videos as a kid and watching that. So Exo Squad is very, very kind of similar
Yeah, it's right
to
up your alley,
yeah.
essentially. Yeah, but I remember because I grew up on big swords and sorcery. So my father is was very big into that. So like as a kid, he made me. I mean, he didn't make me, but he like sat with me and he watched all those amazing like Conan the Barbarian, Beastmaster, all those great
Oh,
movies. And then we'd go back. He'd watch Errol Flynn. He'd put on all like the pirate movies from like the '50s, whatever. So when that cartoon came out, my father to this day watches cartoons. So he was just like, "Come sit with me, watch this. This looks interesting because it's a pirate show and whatnot." And it was obviously made for me. By watching it, I was a child at the time, so I was all in. But he kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
and like when I gotten those toys as a kid, like when I got them, because I got them as a kid, I got the main dude, the his buddy, the big guy. I've always forget their names, and then the ship itself that it came that
Wasn't his name Ren? His name
something
was
like that, right? Yeah, it was some big guy, and then I was just like, this cartoon, it's so awesome, and I
yeah.
just my biggest regret about that cartoon is he never got to complete the sword. Like
Yeah.
the sword
Uh,
was broken, and because they didn't continue because it ended after that first like season. He never completed the pirate sword that his father. It was his first from his father or something like that. I was like always heartbroken about that.
yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm trying. And he has like that bird, that monkey bird thing, that red monkey bird, and they were always
Yeah,
trying to root for the monkey
yeah,
bird.
and he had some amulet that
Yeah.
when he put in the water, it like cured, like because the water was like tainted with some kind of like ooze.
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of? You remember that? What was it? Oh my God! Not Tales from the Crypt, but the Creep Show, where the kids go into that lake and it has like that big kind of like tar thing
Yeah,
that comes again. It reminded me of that.
that's exactly essentially what it was. And whenever he would put this amulet in it, it would become water again. Like the tar shit would go away, and like he had to like get pieces of the sword to complete it to put it together to then fight the main bad guy. It was such a great setup story, and I just was like, it didn't get its like just due, I guess. I know it's just a cartoon, but even as a kid to this day, I'll never forget it. I would go to my father and be like, "When's that thing coming back? Like, when's it?" Because we watched all the episodes, and I'm like, "When's that pirate cartoon coming back?" He's like, "I don't know," because like
Yeah,
back then you didn't know when things got canceled, especially cartoons. Like I was
right.
10, so I didn't know that. I didn't know how TV worked. But yeah, it
I was
never came
modern.
back. I was heartbroken about it.
Yeah, I would love to see a modern update of that, like a little bit darker, a little bit grimier,
I'm
not so.
in. I'm
Yeah,
in. Hell yeah, dude. Like you give me like even if it's like a graphic novel, continuation of it, and then like a toy line. I always talk about it. Like if I really got into heavy customizing action figures, because I'm just kind of dabbling right now. I usually do dioramas, and just recently I kind of stepped my foot into like action figures and vehicles. I always told myself that if I could honestly get good at customizing, those would be figures that would be high on my list to make because it kind of it has a very very strong feelings from a childhood with me. So it's very I'm very big on the nostalgia. So for me, that would be a very nostalgic thing to make. Just like currently, um, I'm trying to find. I'm looking everywhere. Maybe you can help. I'm trying to find a good Axel Foley head because I need a one. I want to make a 1/12 scale Axel Foley. No, and I've
yeah,
never seen it before. I don't know. I've seen the 118. That one was
right.
awesome. I want a
Yeah, with the
112.
boys who did the.
I think so.
Yeah, look, Austin's got like the Lions jacket and on
Yeah.
it.
Hell yeah.
Badass. Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah.
I would say like check like to me that would look kind of similar would maybe be like Blue Marvel, the head from Blue Marvel.
I was thinking that.
I found them there at Ollie's for $9.
$9. I know a lot of people are starting to see those Marvel, like the good Marvel figures, because a lot of the times when you go there, it's that stupid Eternals wave at Ollie's. Whenever I go there, it's lousy with the Eternals
Yeah.
and Black Series Star Wars. Never good Marvel figures, but every now and then I'm starting to hear everybody's telling me that they're getting these waves like Blue Marvel
Yeah.
and even like the which really pisses me off because I spent full price on Big Bad Toys. The tracksuit mafia guys are
Yeah.
starting to show up at Ollie's.
Yeah. The one around here stacked with Eternals too, and then
Yeah.
stacked with still a shitload of Shang-Chi stuff.
Okay.
There's what other one? There's a few like Marvels and a few of those waves that are perpetually stuck at Ollie's, but every once in a while they'll break out some shit. I haven't seen anything cool like the Tracksuit Mafia yet.
I know.
Uh, we usually go every Saturday. Usually, me, my dad, and my son, we go every Saturday because, you know, it's so cheap. I'll let my son, you want two of those, fine. You know what I mean? They're $1.99 each. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Get whatever you want.
Hell yeah,
Um,
dude.
and so, but I haven't run across anything cool like that in a while.
Yeah, I went when they when Hasbro gave them the 2 packs, me and my wife went and by I couldn't believe it. They had the Adaptoid and they had Thor and the Destroyer. So
Mm.
I grabbed one of each, and they had a bunch of owl bears from the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, yeah,
So I grabbed two of those, like a white one and a brown one, and I went home. I came back the next day because I was like, you know what, I could really use another Destroyer because I have like the idea of having two next to that new Odin that's coming out.
yeah.
Um,
That big.
yeah, so I went back, gone, all of them gone. I mean, within like I was like 24 hours, not even. I was gone like 16 hours, and they were already all gone. And I was like, Jesus Christ! And
Yeah,
since then, nothing. Like they have the Black Panther wave,
yeah,
which
yeah,
that they're lousy with that wave too, but they don't have anything good. I mean, I'm seeing people, you see people post pictures all the time. They find good stuff, but I don't know where they're going for it, like which ollies
yeah,
they're finding. Because on this where I'm at, I'm in New York, I'm upstate New York. It sucks here, man. It's always just Eternals, like you said, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and that Black Panther wave, which
yeah.
I already cherry picked everything I needed from that for those waves. I don't really need anything else now at this point.
Yeah, the last good shit that I found there, I found by accident. I wasn't even in the toy aisle. I had gone to the back because and ours at the back in the middle they have like socks and hats and sweatpants and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I was just looking like at socks and stuff, and the lady had just pulled the cart out. They were getting ready to reload, and then she walked away from it, and I happened to look and I saw a Hasbro GI Joe classified box. I was like, holy shit! So I kind of peeked in there, and it was all Sergeant Slaughters. It
wow,
was it was two cases of Sergeant Slaughters for I forget whatever it was, $11.99 each or something like that. And it was when he was a deluxe, so it was like $34 for
yeah,
him first came out. And so I asked that lady, I said, hey, I said, is it cool if I take these G.I. Joes? And she goes, yeah. She goes, take them. And I said, how often do you get them? And she goes, we don't get them that often. She goes, but every day when we open up, she goes, there's 2 or 3 guys that come every day when we open up, and they come and they go through all of our toy stuff.
yeah,
And he goes, and usually they get all of the G.I. Joe stuff before anybody can get it. And I
yeah,
just happened lucky at that time
yeah.
and get them.
That happened to me one time. I went into Target just as they were opening, right? And I was going in there. I was going in there for something else. It wasn't action figures, but I saw the guy. Like you could tell. Like I looked over, I saw him. He's waiting. They opened the door. He went in first, and I said, "Let me just go." I always take a stroll past the action figures whenever I'm in Target. So I walk past it, and that's that. Sure as shit, that's where that guy was loading up on all like. I guess they had just put out. I don't know if it was McFarlane or did Transformers. It was one of the other. I'm not sure which one it was, but they had just loaded it up, and he was just loading his cart up. You can
Yeah.
always tell when they're like who's there for the action figures. You can always tell when they get there early.
Yeah, I kind of miss that excitement from like the first year of Classified when everybody was doing that. Everybody was lining up at Target and looking for that first beachhead and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It was that level of excitement was pretty great.
Well, let me. That brings me to one of my closing questions here is, how long do you think you'll be collecting? Do you think there's a shelf life on it? Do you see an end in sight, or do you think you'll be collecting until the end of time? And there's no expiration date on your action figure collecting and customizing.
I think I'll always collect something. Um, there are times when like I'll sit in the because I've kind of built a room onto my house to accommodate all the GI Joe shit, and sometimes I'm like, what am I going to do with all this shit? What am I going to do with 50 number 24s? What am I going to do with 3 his tanks? What am I going to do with 6 stingers? What am I going to do with all this shit?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Where does it end, right? And so like I used to buy first I was going to get 2 of everything, one open and one to keep box. And then at one point I got to get 5 of every figure. So one to keep box, one to display, and then 3 to either trade or use as like fodder.
yeah,
So I bought a shit ton of all of them. Like I ended up buying like 20 Dukes because I used them to as a buck for a lot of my customs, and I still got a shit ton of all of the first and second year stuff. And sometimes I look at it, I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to do? What's it going to amount to?
yeah,
Where does it like? When does the when is enough enough? You know what I'm saying? And so like sometimes I look at it, I'm like, I don't even want to look at this shit anymore. I don't want to build this shit anymore. I don't want to look at this shit anymore
yeah,
because it almost becomes like a job. It's obligatory. You know what I mean? Like you with this with these shows, right? Like at some point it stops being fun and starts to become a job. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
and so I don't want that feeling involved with my hobby. So that's why a lot of times you'll see like I post sporadically,
Yeah.
and it's I only want to post when like I'm feeling it. I don't want to be like I have to create content. I have to buy this next one so I can review it. I have to get that because then there's no more joy in it. You know what I mean? So as far as the GI stuff goes, I think I'll collect this until the line goes out. I don't know if I'll army build to the way that I was army building before
Mhm.
because like I didn't think we were gonna have 15 different bats. You know what I'm
Yeah, no, that
saying?
came
And
out of nowhere, yeah.
five different vipers and all this kind of shit. So I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm 46. It's like I don't know. Like sometimes I think about it. It's like I mean, this is all money that you're not going to get back. You're never going to get back what you put into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm. And so yeah, sometimes I think about it. I think about I just need to put all this shit in a box and move on with my life. And then sometimes I think, well, man, but it's so enjoyable, and I do like making the videos when I do make them. But I don't know. It's like a love hate thing. You know what I mean? Because I allowed it to be such a big part of my life, especially over the last couple of years when I was hurt in that motorcycle accident. So I couldn't really go anywhere or do anything. So I spent the majority of the time, working on customs. So I don't know, man. Like I don't want to be that guy that dies in a house full of toys all by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like on pickers or something like that. They're like, Jesus, where'd you get all these toys? Oh, my dad, he was obsessed and he just collected toys and he died in this barn behind his house by himself. You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
the a Wonder Woman figure on his face or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that guy, but I also do want to at least have a nice collection to where if I do die, um, and my son sells it, he can at least get a little bit of something out of
You
it.
get
You know what I
something
mean?
out of it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why a lot of people collect. Just something they can leave behind. You could leave it. It's your decision. Either you could sell it or you could hold it as a keepsake. But I just, it's just something that got me by. You know, it's one of those things where like, see, I don't have children and I don't plan to have children, but I have a lot of nephews, and I like, you know, that I hope one day. My brother does have all of them into all of this stuff, so I hope one day they'll. Because like one afternoon they came by, they were hanging out here, and he walked in. I was working on a diorama, and it was a Castle Grayskull diorama. So it was like all the detail I had drawn in by hand, all the brick detail, like all the rock detail, and he was just kind of blown away by it. And it was the first time like they had shown interest in it, and I was just like, "Fuck that!" I hope they like I'll give this to them, like because I won't need it when I'm dead. So I hope somebody enjoys it. Like that. That's how I feel about them. I love them. They've brought me safety and comfort. Like when I get a He-Man figure, especially because He-Man was really, like I said, because me and my dad were really into the swords and sorcery stuff. So He-Man will always hold like a special place in my heart, especially because it's like attached to Conan the Barbarian, which is my favorite because of my father. Um,
Right.
but um, they brought me to a place where no matter what, life sucks. Like real life sucks. So whenever I'm taking pictures and I'm playing with my toys, I'm away from the sucks part. you know? And
Oh yeah.
I want that, like, when I'm gone, I hope this could be some that for like maybe one of my nephews or somebody else. That's kind of what I hope in holding on to them at least.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm with you, man. Like this is our, especially for kids of our generation. This is we grew up, and what I believe is the pinnacle of fucking. I mean, the world, right? Like, I mean, if you grew up in the 80s and stuff like that, you got the pinnacle of pop culture
Yeah,
ever. Nothing's ever been as good, or I mean, like that period. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing has ever topped that since then. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? That's why I keep rehashing this shit because they can't come up with anything better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it does. It keeps us in that kind of state of where we have sort of perpetual nostalgia for what was, and these action figures, and just talking with fellow collectors and customizers and just fans of all the different cartoons and movies and toy lines and all that kind of stuff. It does. It gives us a sense of when the world was in a better place, when we were in a better place as children, where there was less worries, less stress. The world wasn't as fucked up as it is now. You know what I mean? It was just such a better and simpler time,
Oh yeah.
and I think that'll always have sort of a perpetual draw to us for as long as we can be consumers. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%, man. Um, my last question to you is how many rattlers did you back then?
I got zero.
None. You didn't.
So I got three his tanks, right. One to keep in a box, one to leave stock, and then one to customize. I got three dragonflies for that same thing, but just unfortunately, right now, I didn't have it financially. I'm
Uh,
going through a battle with my son's mom, so a lot of my funds that I would have had for toys and stuff like that, um, just kind of going to the
yeah,
lawyers
yeah.
and the peripheral stuff of the the custody battle and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to get one, or I wanted to get at least two. One to keep stock and then one to do the Tiger Force version. Somebody the Tiger Force version of the Dragonfly, but I'll have that third Dragonfly, so I might see if I can find someone to trade a Dragonfly for a
A
Rattler,
rattler,
and
yeah.
then
I don't see why that wouldn't be
buy
a problem.
one to because I don't care to have the kind of like now you can buy the Hiss where it's just a Hiss tank by itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, from different people on eBay or Macari or whatever. So if I can find a decent price second one, I'll get just so I can make the Tiger Flip
That's
version.
awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, brother, it was a pleasure to talk to you today. I really, I appreciated picking your brain and
Yeah, man.
getting to know you a little bit here. Because like I said, I've admired your work for a very long time. Like I
Yeah.
watched all the stuff. I watched the Buzz Lightyear plane stuff that you did. Like I said, you were really inspiration in terms of kind of getting me off my ass and customizing vehicles because like it was you with the Buzz Lightyear plane that kind of got me to try it because I saw it on Target's website for the price that I think you had gotten it for because it was on sale at that point, and I
Yeah.
immediately grabbed it, and kind of painted it and made it my own. But I used the method that you kind of laid out for everybody, and I think that's one thing that I love about coming to YouTube with this whole toy thing was the amount of people who are willing to share the information that they have. They're not willing to. They don't need to hoard it. They want to
Right.
to share it to the world. They're like, it's like, I got it here. Try it. Let's see how it works for you. And that's you were one of those people. So I can't speak on behalf of everybody. I'll speak on behalf of me. Thank you so much for the content that you create. So I
Yeah.
know you take your time on it, and it shows, and it's greatly appreciated because it comes through in the work, man. I have never seen anybody do the kind of work that you do. And it's, you like tip of the cap, bro. It's amazing. So like, 'cause I can't speak for everybody, but I'll speak for myself. You are one of the best customizers I've seen on out there in the toy world, dude. Like, I know
Thank
it's a small niche thing because it's toys, but
you.
to
Right.
me, I look at it more than that. It's beyond that to me. It's art. These are little sculptures, man. The little pieces of art. And so when you can take something that a company made that is already kind of cool. Like the Hiss is cool, the Stinger was cool, the you know the Dragonfly is cool as shit, and to see guys like you take it, it's already cool, and you make it like even cooler, like even
Yeah.
like mind blowingly cool. It's it's art. It's more than just action figures. It's art, and like you said, I hope it never becomes work for you because I can see that you like doing it, you have fun doing it, and that's where it has to stay. It has to stay
Yeah.
fun because, like you said, and you know, brother, trust me when I tell you, I know exactly how you feel about it becoming work. You know what I'm saying? I totally get that because sometimes you're like, you know, I don't want to have to sit here and make videos all the fucking time, but like, you love it, so it's like a double edged sword. It's like I like doing it, but is it becoming work? But I like doing it, so don't ever let that happen, man. Because like I said, I love watching your stuff, and I never want it to become an issue to where you never want to post anything or continue to produce amazing work, man. Like for real, dude.
Thank
Um, you can catch Gun Bunny on his YouTube at Gun Bunny Customs. His handle on his YouTube is Gun Bunny Customs 4302. You can catch him on his Instagram at Gun Bunny Customs or Gun underscore Bunny underscore Customs. I hate the fact that you can't just put a space. They put the,
Yeah.
they put the stupid underscore. But there you'll see all his amazing work. You see his process, and like I said, you'll learn a thing or two because, like I said, you've taught me a lot. Um, so for talking figures, ladies and gentlemen, that is Gun Bunny Customs. I am Tony. As always, keep playing, guys.